Hey fashion bosses, how are you doing today? Awesome. So my name is Faith Abraham, Creative Director of Fashion Boss Innovations Academy. On this channel, we upload sewing tutorials and headwear tutorials. Okay, so in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing us how I achieved this headpiece, headband, mini fascinator. You can let me know what it is called in your area by dropping it on the comment section below. Okay, right. I actually achieved it using Ashoke fabric. Okay, but before we start, I'd like to appreciate you. If this is your first time on this channel, we say thank you, welcome. Please do well to subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, we say thank you so very much for always coming by. Like this channel, and God bless you for doing this. Please subscribe. Don't forget to tap on the bell so you get notification each time we drop new videos. Okay, so these are the materials we need for this project. These are my trimmings. Okay, you get them from the millinery store. Okay, I have my matching thread and needle. I have my Alice band. I have my velvet bias. Yes, it comes in different colors. I have my Ashoke fabric. It's actually two-toned, like you can see, reflecting blue and green. I have my scissors. I have my crinoline, the 3 inches with crinoline. I have my tape roll. Yes. So I'll just keep all of this materials aside, and then we proceed. I pick up my Ashoke fabric. I already cut it out, but I'll let you in on the measurements. It is measuring 13 inches by length. Okay, then of course the width comes like this. Okay, this is how the width come in this kind of fabric. Okay, it's measuring 13 inches by length. I'm going to fold it into 2 equal halves. Okay, we also need to cut out fabric in 5 places. Okay, 5 or 6 places. Okay, so I fold my fabric into this way, and then I'm going to sew it down. But before sewing down, I make sure I know the actual length of my crinoline. Okay, I'm going to be sewing it with 2.5 inches because my crinoline is about 3 inches. Okay, so I'm going to measure 2.5, and that is where I'm going to sew. The crinoline is measuring 3 inches, like you can see. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing on 2.5. The reason why I'm sewing on 2.5 is to enable my crinoline sit into it properly. After sewing, I'm going to turn it inside out, like you can see me do right now. Okay, please don't cut out the edges of your ashoke when you are done sewing. It's going to fray. So I'm going to position the same side on the upper part and iron it properly. Right, I'm done ironing. I'm just going ahead right now to trim out the rough edges. All right, because we're going to be inserting a crinoline into the fabric. Okay, and I'm also going to be doubling my crinoline. I'm not going to use it singularly like we've done in other projects. The reason is because the crinoline is getting lighter by the day. Yes, so I have to double it to give us the kind of stability and firmness and the kind of effect that we require. Okay, so I fold it the way you see me fold, and then I insert it into the ashoke fabric this way. Okay, pulling it out from the other end. So I'm done inserting. I'm going to trim off the excess crinoline. So I've replicated it in other pieces. I told you'll be needing about 5, 6 or 7 pieces thereabout. So I've done the same in other pieces. I also have this long one. Okay, in no particular order. You don't have to, have any long one. Okay, this was the fabric left, and I didn't want to, divide it into 2. It was not up to 13. If we divided it, it won't give us 13 inches. what is left is 20 inches, and the shorter one is actually 13 inches. So two of it will be 26 inches. So that's why I'm using it this way. Okay. So it's not as if there is anything special about this long one. Okay. So we are going to start forming our loops. But before we do, I want to reduce the length of the crinoline. The reason why I'm reducing this length is to enable us have a lighter edge. I don't want that end part of the ashoke, this end, because we are going to stitch or sew on it. I don't want it to be too hard. I want our needle to penetrate with ease, okay? So I'm pulling it out. I'm going to cut out a part of it, freeing that end part of the ashoke. Okay, the crinoline is doubled and then the ashoke fabric is also thick. Okay, so I want it to be a bit easy for a needle to penetrate. Okay, so you can also adopt the same method when doing yours. So another call to action, if you are still watching this video up to this time, we encourage you to please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. The thumbs up enable the video visible for others to see. And your subscription is just your own way of telling us well done. Okay, that's just your own way of paying us back. Like the video, share it, drop your comments, okay? Share the video, like it, give a thumbs up. Don't go without giving a thumbs up. Please, I beg of you. So I just run a loose stitch, on the middle part of the loop, okay, like you can see me do, and then I'm pulling it to form a bow. Yes, I'm pulling it. You have to be very careful so your thread does not break, okay? I'm pulling it. Do well to follow us on all our social media handle. Okay, on Instagram is at Fashion Boss, on TikTok is at Fashion Boss, on Pinterest is at Fashion Boss, on Facebook we do have a Facebook page. Like it and follow us at Fashion Boss Innovations. We also have a Facebook group. I encourage you to join the group at Fashion Boss Innovations Academy, where we share ideas and provide solutions to our millinery and sewing problems. Okay, so I just wrap my thread round about the piece of ashoke, to give me the kind of stability and security that I actually do require. Okay, so I'm tying it up now. Okay, securing it with a tie to keep everything we've done in place for us. Cutting off the excess thread, and then knots or tie back the end of my thread. So I pick up the shorter piece of ashoke, do the same thing to them by reducing the crinoline, okay, on both ends to free up that end for us to enable a needle penetrate with some ease. Okay, fold it into to run a straight stitch and then form a loop with it. And then I'm going to replicate this process in all the ashoke strips. When you are forming this loop, you make sure that the same side, that place where you run a straight stitch is hiding on the inside. Like you can see me do right now. It's not showing on the top side, on the outer parts of the ashoke piece, right? I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. If you look at the one that is on the table, the seam is up, is showing. The one that we form, the seam is not showing. So you are folding the fabric in such a way that the seam is not showing, okay? So I'm done forming all the loops, okay? So right about now, we are going to start arranging the loop and tacking them together. So you just watch keenly on how I'm going about this. So I just realized that one of the loop, the seam is facing the outer parts. It was a mistake, as I was trying to ensure that you do not, make the same mistake by bringing it to your attention or awareness. So I put those two loops together, and then I'm just going to go ahead right now to tack both of them together. Please make sure that your tacks are very firm so these things do not unravel or pull off, when your client is wearing or have them, and also for durability purpose, okay? So I just continue tacking, okay? I place another two loops on top, and then I tack, okay? Proper tacking is advisable, please. Make sure your tacks are very firm. I replicated it in the remaining loops, and then we have these two balls right now, and then we are going to put them together and tack both of them together, making both of them one. Okay, both of them becomes one. We're going to tack everything together right about now. So because it's a bit stiff, it's a bit hard, I'm using my beading needle to pull out my needle, because it was actually piercing my hands and causing some pains. Okay, that's why I'm applying the plier assistance. If there is anything like that, I just keep tacking. I tacked this for a while to get the kind of firmness and stability and security that it requires. So I'm done tacking. I'm trying to secure it right now. I'm still tacking. I realized that there is a place that I needed to touch. So I went ahead and continued tacking. You tack it to the point where you think and believe that it is very okay. Okay? At this point, I'm trying to secure it. I have to show all the stacking process so you know that tacking is a serious business. Otherwise, it might just end up, you know, putting your work in shamble with your clients. So if you have to tack, do it properly. So I just cut off the excess thread and our bowl is in place. I pick up this little bit piece in no particular measurements. Just use any piece, just eyeball it to cover up the middle part where we did all of the stitching and tacking, okay, for a knitted job. So we have to cover that part before we introduce our trimming. I reach out for my gun and wax. I apply it neatly, and then I'm going to use it to cover up this middle part. So I just make sure that it is properly wrapped and well secured. I use my wax and my gun and wax like you saw. You can also decide to wanting to tack it with your needle and thread. It's actually optional, whichsoever one that works well for you, you can do, okay? I also folded in the edge of that little piece so that the rough edges will not be showing. Hope you noticed that. Trimming off every form of thread that I'm seeing around. Okay, and a bowl, a loop is ready at this point. It's just for you to introduce your trimming. You basically arrange it however you want to, you know. You are a creative being. You reach out to the creativity on the inside of you and arrange your bowl however, your trimmings, your design, however you want to, in no particular order, except there is a picture your client sends to you. You then follow the picture. But if there is none, please go ahead and get creative about your designs. So at this point right now, we're going to wrap our Alice band. I pick up my Alice band and I measure around it this way to give me the measurements or the size of the Alice band. I also measure the mid parts of the Alice band, which is the wider parts of the Alice band. Okay, I get a fabric. The wider part of the Alice band, that middle part, was measuring 1.5 inches. So I want to use a 3 inches because we're going to, cover the inside as well. So the length of the Alice band was about 16 inches, 15 point something inches. So I added 2 more inches to it because we are also going to do a bit of infolding at the tail end of the Alice band. Okay, so I just fold my Alice band this way like you can see me do. What we need is 3 inches, 3 inches, 1.5 inches when it is on fold. Okay, and then the tail end of the Alice band is about 0.75 inches. So I'm going to measure 1.5, 0.75 or 0 or 1 inches at the tail end, slant it this way and then cut out. Okay, the middle part of the Alice band and the end part of it are not the same measurement. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So we don't have extremely excessive fabric at the point where we don't have to. Okay. So this is what we have after cutting out. I'm going to place it this way. Okay, and then this is how we are going to fold it in. We're covering the inside. That's why we measured out 3 inches. Okay, if you just measured your 1.5 inch, which is the size of the Alice band, it won't cover the inner part of your Alice band. Hope you understand that. Right, so if you've watched this video up to this time and you've not subscribed, I want to encourage you once again, so please kindly subscribe. We love you, right? And we also need you to love us back in return, please. Do not forget to tap on the bell to get notification each and every time we drop new video. Like I always say that we drop sewing tutorials and headwear tutorials on this channel. So I just apply my wax, on that part so that it will hold the Alice band and the fabric in place for me whilst I go about wrapping other parts of the Alice band. Hope you understand that. So I've held it down. I'll just continue applying my wax and on the edge of my fabric and then using it to cover my Alice band. I already have a tutorial video on how to wrap or cover Alice band on this channel. I really do not know why I'm replicating it again, but it is fine, at least for the benefit of those who this is their first time on this channel. Okay? So I'll just continue wrapping, applying my gum to the edge of my fabric and then using it to wrap my Alice band. I'll first of all wrap this side and then I'll go over to the other side and wrap. Please try to make sure that your job is neat. It is very, very essential. So I just continue wrapping, applying my gum to the edge of the fabric and then continue using it to wrap my Alice band. Okay? You are very careful because the wax is very hot. I call it liquid fire. So I'm done wrapping. So I want you to see how I achieve this edge, okay, to give you a neater job, okay. So the remaining fabric that is left at the end of your Alice band, you fold it properly, like you can see me do, and then you fold it inwardly, okay. Apply your gum, your wax, and curve it, fold it inside. Before I did this, before I folded this part, I was supposed to, introduce my velvet bias, but it's fine. I can always go around it, go about it in different ways. Okay, so I folded it inside, and that is the edge. You see, it's looking neat. Okay, but before I will do the other end, I will introduce my velvet bias before I will fold in this other end. But I'm first of all applying my wax to cover up the mouth because the fabric unravels. I fold it together before I will, because I'm still going to use velvet bias to wrap the tip for a neater job. So I'm going to show you how to wrap one now before I will use my velvet bias again to cover the inner side of the band. So I'm applying my wool gum. I'm using wool gum for this part, not wax. Have you subscribed yet? Please do, otherwise I'll come to your house. So I just place my velvet bias on the edge, the tip, okay, this way, and then I'll wrap it over the Alice band this way, like you can see me do. And then I'll trim off the excess part that I do not need. You see, it's looking beautiful, neat, decent, even looking foreign. And then I'll close up that mouth, that tip, the velvet bias. I'll close it up. I'll close it up that way, okay, for a neater job. Okay, see how I'm closing it up, and then I'm just going to use my scissors to trim a bit of it off. You see how beautiful it's looking? I really do love this. I enjoyed, working on this project. It's really beautiful. You see? It's really, really beautiful. Neat. It looks imported, foreign. So I'm going to also use the bias, the velvet bias. You see, I am trimming off that tail, that tip, okay, because the end of the Alice band is tinier than other parts of the Alice band, just like what we did to the ashoke we used to wrap the Alice band, okay? Hope you understand. So I just apply my gum, and then I'm going to use it to cover the inner parts of the Alice band. Please endeavor to do a neat job when you are doing yours, okay? It speaks volume. Take your time. Do not be in a hurry, okay? So I continue applying my wool gum to the bias, and then I use it to cover the inner part of the Alice band. I decided to use black. You can choose to use any other color or the color of the fabric you are working with. Hope you understand. I continue that way. I'm going to wrap the entire inside, cover the entire inside, inner part of the Alice band with a velvet bias. Alright, so I'm done covering to the end. You see how beautiful the inside is looking. Oh, I love this. Right, right, right. So if you have your sticker, you can place on the inner part right now. So I'm going to replicate what we did on this first end by using a bias to cover the other end. And then we are good to go. We are good to go. I seal it up. I cut off the excess pieces, the excess bias. I sealed up the mouth or the tip. Okay, seal it up, seal it up, seal it up. All right, we are good, we are good. Our job here is done. Our job here is done. I trim off a bit of it. Please subscribe if you have not. So you pick up your design, place on your Alice band and tack. Please tack. I actually tacked. You can tack because you have fabric on the Alice band. Tack. and then use your trimming to embellish it however you want. Okay, however you want. Thank you for staying tuned. We love you. We appreciate you. Please subscribe if you have not. If you have not, please do tap on the bell so you get notification. And then we see you in our next video. Yes, our next video. I mean you. I want to see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.